Okay, recording a podcast. It's been a while since I've done one of these, a couple of weeks. I moved into a new apartment, and we're currently doing the Burbank Comedy Festival. But you know something? That's not an excuse. I think the real reason I haven't done this is because I've been depressed. And I just feel like I'm not good enough. That's the real reason why I haven't been doing this. And I'm afraid of putting it out there so that it can be judged. And that people will listen to it and go, this is supposed to be a comedy podcast, but there's not enough jokes in it. Why would I listen to this for 5 minutes, let alone an hour? So that's the thought that kept me from doing it. So that tells me I just need to buckle down and do it. I don't know if I'm going to do an hour today, probably just a few minutes, maybe 20. But the whole purpose of this is I am just putting myself in a situation where I am forcing myself to quote unquote be funny for an extended period of time in an effort to eventually headline shows. So the goal is, be funny for an hour now talking in front of, nobody, as a way of somehow preparing to be funny for an hour in front of people. It's also a way for me to develop material. So this is me. I guess you're just listening to me writing, which might be fascinating for some and morbidly terrifying for the vast majority of the population. And there are some podcasts that might be the equivalent of me staring at a blank page for an hour, which is always the writer's complaint. I was just staring at the page, and it's a blank page. And the first thing I do, if I'm feeling that down, is let's fill the page with crap. At least it'll be a page full of crap, as opposed to nothing. Although the Zen people, the Zen Buddhists say the beginning of wisdom is nothing. We have to embrace nothingness. How long were they staring at a page full of nothing before they wrote that down? That's my question. That's what I would like to know, Zen Buddhists. I'm trying to record this while putting on underwear, by the way. I'm walking around naked in my new apartment. The blinds are drawn, the curtains are drawn, but there is somebody outside who is mowing the lawn. That's the thing that's happening. But now my underwear is on, so you will only be scalded by my incredibly white legs. You could probably hear them outside. If I go into the kitchen, it might be a little bit less invasive. But I am, what is today? I guess today's Monday that I'm recording this. But yeah, I'm feeling really down on myself, and whenever I go through this, I always try to talk myself out of it, and that never works. Why do I continually try to talk myself out of being depressed? It never works. I just have to kind of slog through it, and then one day it sort of lifts. I think the other thing I realize is that the only way to really combat depression is through action. So that's why I do things like record podcasts with the lawnmower in the background. Yeah, that lawnmower is pretty oppressive. Well, my dreams of possibly recording my podcast in the apartment might be thwarted by this, which is half the reason why I got the apartment. Man, that is loud. But I think you can still hear me. Well, you know what? It's a podcast that's going to be underscored by a lawnmower. But seriously, how long does it take to do this? It's not that big of a front lawn. He's been out there for an hour. What is it? Does it really take that long to do this? It's very irritating to me. Does it really take that long? I could do it in 10 minutes. Why is he taking his time? I don't understand it. But you know what? I'm misdirecting anger. That's what's happening right now. He's doing his job. He's doing what he's supposed to do. If I weren't depressed, this wouldn't bother me. But I always manage to find a way to be depressed. I always find a way to find something to be depressed about. That's my disease. I mean, I was diagnosed with depression when I was in middle school. So it's not like this is coming out of thin air. But, like this latest, feeling of inadequacy as a comedian. Before that, there was an enormous amount of fear about something else. And then before that, there was is the club going to open again fear? So there's always anxiety and depression over something. I always find a way to be depressed and anxious over something. I always find a way to be more specific. I feel like that's my resting state. That joy is fleeting, and that this is where I always return to. So this feels like my neutral. Depression is my neutral. Maybe it feels to me like depression is the only thing I can trust. It is a lot more consistent than joy. Like joy is that friend that's like, yeah, let's go out Thursday at 8. And then Thursday at 8 rolls around and nowhere to be seen. Depression is like, no, I'll be there Thursday at 8. And 9 and 10 and 11. And depression is there. Man, depression never misses an appointment. And even if depression is not there, I can call depression on the phone, and depression's like, yeah, I'll be there in 5. But aren't you halfway across the country? Yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Depression is the one thing that can travel faster than the speed of light, at least for me. Maybe that's how we finally explore the stars. Isn't that what the ship in Star Trek Discovery does? No, we just ride on a stream of depression from one place to the next. Getting aggravated with each other. So I can say that about depression. I don't even know if I want to go into... Do I need to go into the details of why I'm depressed? Does it matter anymore? It's the one place I keep ending back up in. I should probably talk to somebody else, but I'm tired of talking to other people about it because I've talked to people about this. I've had multiple therapists. I've talked to other people. It doesn't seem to matter how much I talk about it. It never seems to go away. So I'm kind of done talking about it. I just have to learn to live with it. Even in this podcast, I could talk about this. I'm getting sick of talking about it. Yeah, I'm depressed. Great. Join the club. I'm beginning to think depression is really just part of the human condition. Depression is the new normal. Is anybody not depressed? Anyone who's not depressed, those are the freaks. Those are the people who need medication. I'm sorry, I think you're suffering from happiness. We need to get you on something right away. You can't go out in the world thinking it's all going to turn out all right. So I watched Kiki's delivery service last night in order to cry. That's what I have to do. If I feel the urge to cry and it's not quite there, I usually pop in a Miyazaki movie, and that gets me to cry so I can release some of this pent-up emotion. And I watched that one because there's a moment in that one where Kiki, who is a witch, loses her powers. And she's being consoled by an artist. And the artist is saying, well, sometimes I get creatively stifled. And I just have to remember why I'm an artist. I have to remember why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's kind of what I'm going through right now. I got to ask myself, why am I a comedian? Why am I a comedian? Why am I doing this? And my first thought is money. And my second thought is, you said you want to be a comedian. I'm sorry, you equated comedian with money? Interesting. Fascinating. But why do I want to be? What do I want to say? Well, I think I experience pain in my life, and I see things in the world that cause pain that are unfair. And I think for me, having a sense of humor about it is the only way to deal with it. Which immediately feels so cliche. Isn't that why that's why everyone does comedy. It's so... it's immediately such a cliche thing to say. So I'm already judging myself. Excuse me while I have some cranberry juice. I actually got the just cranberry juice, which means there's no artificial flavorings. So it's raw cranberry juice, which means that it's very tart, bitter. Is bitter the right word? Sour. It's 100% premium cranberry juice. Why do they need to add the word premium? Is that not implied? Oh, I don't need premium cranberry juice. No. Give me the half-ass cranberry juice. That's fine. No. I want the cranberries that have been grown next to a nuclear power plant. That's all I need. I'm good. Premium cranberry juice, authentic Mexican food. That's the other one. Authentic blank food, authentic Italian food, authentic Mexican food. It should be enough to just say Mexican food or Italian food. But then we have to add authentic. But now it's getting to the point where I see restaurants or I see things in the supermarket where it says authentic Italian, and I'm like, that's the Olive Garden. What are you talking about? So now authentic isn't even authentic. The next step is going to be, seriously, it's authentic Mexican restaurant. That's going to be the title of the restaurant. No. We really, really mean that it is authentic Italian food restaurant. That is the title of the restaurant. All right, well, I mean, maybe even that's a little bit, I guess that's what I mean by unfair. Saying there's premium cranberry juice. Why do you have to say premium? What are you selling? How is it premium as opposed to, let me see if they'd say why it's premium as opposed to not premium. Made with the finest natural ingredients, no preservatives and artificial flavors. All right, well, I don't know if that necessarily means premium. Okay, here's the story. It was 1961 in Paradise, California, which I believe just burned down in a fire. a place where the pursuit of craft and quality was taking root among farmers, friends, and wellness-minded folks. That's where our story begins, with a harvest of grapes from vineyards in California inspired R.W. Knudsen, or is it Knudsen, to begin bottling his own fruit juice. It was the first batch of many, all crafted with an unprecedented commitment to integrity and quality. Simple and powerful with wholesome goodness, these single fruit juices are made to the highest standard, the way we've always made them. It's very beautiful sentiment, but yeah, that's kind of what we're expecting, right? It's like the Seinfeld bit where the pilot's explaining the whole flight, and he says, yeah, we know. Just get us there. So now I'm judging myself for coming up with a thought that might be too similar to Seinfeld. And I'm also self-conscious because now the guy who was doing the mowing is now sweeping and might be listening to me recording a podcast talking about how insignificant I feel and worried about... Oh, that was another thing that had. Somebody came up to me last night and said, hey, that I have a joke that's very similar to yours. I don't know what the protocol is on this. And I said, I won't do it anymore. It was a joke that didn't work particularly well for me. And so I guess we solved that. But it was, I'm not going to say what the joke is now, but it basically was a joke that, I think the root of the joke is my failure to find love. So there's probably going to be a lot more of that kind of parallel thinking when I'm dealing with other comedians. Why do I do this? To deal with pain. Well, I'm in pain right now. I'm in severe emotional pain right now. And because it's not involving, like it's all in my head, because it's not involving the horrific death of a loved one or something that I deem a legitimate reason, I don't feel like I can talk to anybody about this who's not a therapist. And even the therapist, I don't want to talk to a therapist about it. I don't want to pay someone to tell them this thing that I've paid other people to tell, and nothing anyone has said has really ever helped. But yes, I am in a lot of pain right now. I've been in a lot of pain for a long time. But the whole point of stand-up for me is to find the humor in the pain. That's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to find the humor in this pain. I'm failing to find the humor in this pain right now. It is just pain. I'm completely failing to see any silver lining. I'm failing to see why any of this is funny at all. Totally failing. I think this podcast is just going to end with me crying. You're just going to be hearing recorded weeping. That's basically where we're going with this. But what am I doing? Why am I depressed today? Well, because I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I have what it takes. And my fear is if I'm not good enough, I'll never achieve my dreams. That's the root of my depression today. And I have to remind myself of a couple of things. First of all, there are plenty of people who are good enough who still don't achieve their dreams. So, misery loves company. Plenty of people who are, immensely creative and immensely talented, and they die alone and undiscovered. And I just want to tell you right now, the fact that they die alone and undiscovered, it makes me feel a little better. So their death hasn't gone entirely in vain. They can feel good about that in whatever dimension they're in. The second thing, and I've thought this before, but I'll say this now. I mean, if I am as mediocre as I'm accusing myself of being, why am I not more successful? I mean, I think about all those TV sitcoms that are just god-awful. Shouldn't I be rich right now? And I think the ultimate thing is that, let's say I'm not the greatest. Or let's say that the people who now are considered the greatest don't view me as the greatest. Well, what am I going to do? Am I going to just not do it? I mean, I guess my choices are quit or continue trying to get better. That's the other thing that depresses me. I don't want to be the guy who's like, oh yeah, he got a lot better. I hate that. I wanted to be the guy who's great at the beginning. Like Eddie Murphy, brilliant at, 12 years old. I don't want to be the guy who's like, oh, he really worked hard, and now, I don't want to be the Rudy. Everyone can relate to the Rudy story, but nobody wants to be Rudy. I want to be the guy I want to be the guy who can easily throw the football. I want to be the guy who actually was the quarterback. That's why I'm depressed. Rudy, it's such an inspiring story. No, it isn't. And then he became like an insurance salesman or something, or a motivational speaker. No, I want to be the quarterback. It's a good soundtrack, though, to Rudy, I gotta say. Good soundtrack. Well, this will be a shorter one. But if it's any consolation to anyone, I feel a little bit better. I don't know how you feel.